Hello and welcome. Today I wanted to do a review of a relatively new product. This is a Ripperblades Aurora blade. Now the Aurora blade, as I mentioned, is kind of a new product, and it's difficult to tell if you go on their website exactly what it is and how it differs from some of their other models. So I figured I'd take a moment and introduce you to this one here. Now the Aurora blade here is a purple two-toned Aurora blade in 3/4 inch. So let me talk about the 3/4 inch first. Pretty much all of the dual-worthy Ripperblades, he started to offer them in 3 different versions now. The 1 inch, which is a standard blade socket size that fits in Ultra Sabers, Kyber Lights, Saber Forge, Vader's Vault, really any of them. 7/8 inch, which is something that you see a 7/8 inch blade all by itself in some of the stuff from the POC store, and 3/4 inch, which is what you've got here. Now visually the 3/4 inch is kind of interesting. It's a very thin, much more like Star Wars Rebels sort of feel to it. But the way that Ripperblades offers it, you don't have to have a special saber for these smaller sized blades. Let me go ahead and take this one out and show you real quick. Okay. Attached to the base of this 3/4 inch blade, he's got an adapter, and this is fused on there so it doesn't come off. But this is a 1 inch, or a piece of 1 inch thick blade stock that the 3/4 inch has been inserted in. Now if you get a 7/8 inch, you end up with a very similar adapter on that. Basically the standard blade stock is 1 inch. The thick or heavy grade blade stock, the internal diameter is 3/4 inch, so this is a piece of heavy grade blade stock. The thin blade stock, the internal diameter is 7/8 inch, so the adapter for a 7/8 inch saber is just a piece of thin wall blade stock that's 1 inch outside or external diameter. Now, if that was confusing, don't worry about it. Basically, what you're dealing with when you get these smaller blades, if you get them from Ripperblades, you get them with an adapter already on them. If you're shopping around elsewhere for them, the adapters are fairly easy to make. Usually you just take a piece off of one of the blades that you already own. So, adapter aside, neat feature. Let's talk about this blade itself. Now you can kind of tell from the camera, it's a little bit hard to tell, but you can see that the color is a little bit different here than it is up here. So one of the things that that Ripper has started to do a lot with the Aurora blades is make them two-tone so that it's darker down here by the base and then it becomes lighter out here at the end. So this is a purple blade down this far, and out towards the tip here it's kind of pink. Now what that does is that because there is no internal blade film in this, I'll give you a close-up and talk about that in a second, that means that the light is going to be brighter here, but it's going to get lost as it goes up the blade. So by keeping the color up here lighter, or the dye up here lighter than it is down here, it makes it a little bit more even all the way up the blade than it would usually. You notice though when I had it on, it still had some dark spots in here. But I'll talk about that because that's actually part of what makes this an Aurora blade. Alright, so a standard Ripper day blade is dyed and diffused a little bit or sanded on the outside with a little bit of a texture. A Ripper unstable blade is dyed and then etched through. This one is dyed and then it's hit with sort of a sparkle diffusion on the outside of the blade. That gives it sort of shimmery effect on the outside. I'll give you a close-up of that in a second. And then on the inside, he's hit it with that craft glitter that he uses on the regular unstable blades that aren't pearl. So it's got a few different layers, it's got a couple layers of diffusion. It's got the sparkles on the inside, the sparkles on the outside, and the color dye in between those two. So now that I've talked about what this is, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of a close-up with a camera here. Okay, so I showed you lit and unlit on this so that you could see the color difference, and I also showed it to you with a standard red day blade. Now this isn't a Ripperblade, this is the standard red like you would get from someplace like Saberforge. Vader's Vault would sand the outside. This is actually made from pieces from Custom Saber Shop. But just wanted to give you some idea of the difference between a 3/4 inch and a 1 inch blade stock, and between an Aurora with that sort of shimmering pattern and a standard day blade. Now, one of the things that you might have noticed about the Aurora is when they use this craft glitter, if it sits for a while, the craft glitter will sort of pile up on one side of the blade. If you tap it, the craft glitter will start to sort of free float. I'm not a real big fan of the craft glitter, but I understand why they did it with this blade because it gives it sort of a multi-dimensional glitter sort of effect. But if you look in the end, you can see some of it piled up where the blade color is a little bit lighter. So basically that's the difference. When you're ordering day blades from Ripper, you need to choose your size, either 3/4, 1 inch, or in the middle, 7/8 inch, which is just between these two. You can either choose the standard day blade, like you get from a lot of different places except sanded, depends on where you get it from, or you can get the unstable, which you've seen on my channel before, or you can get the Aurora. So, new product, interesting design. I like the 3/4. Hopefully this has been a little bit of hopefully this has been useful information to help you guys figure out what these things are, because it's difficult to tell from the pictures. And if you've enjoyed this, please join me back for more reviews.